On Dresden Timpani, you have a pedal that operates on a shaft that turns. This lever right here operates with the heel, allows the pedal to move up and down. When it's farther back this way, the pitch is farther down. The paw, or the tooth, locks into the ratchet. This part right here is what we made and what we're talking about today.
If you're not familiar with this style of timpani, then you might not understand what a ratchet does, whose one job is to lock the pedal in position so that the pitch on the timpani stays still. This is the one that I've replaced, and the reason we're replacing them are these teeth are just worn out. Having a total of 60 teeth, 2 full teeth are missing and about 4 teeth are worn down. For options to repair the old ratchet, which was made back in 1957, we considered welding or putting beads of weld material on the teeth that are chipped and then using a hand file to fix them. After thinking about it for a while, that felt a bit more like a hack than a repair, which I would only do if I absolutely could not make a new ratchet or wanted to save this ratchet for any reason. That'd be a lot of work to hand file or even to remachine. So in the end, I'm glad I made new ratchets. So as the paw engages the tooth, it locks in, and there's a spring on the pedal, which we'll get into in a future video, that pushes it down in. We need it to mate as well as possible, and there are angles that we have to take into account, and we talk more about that later.
So I'm I'll put this screw in right here and right here.
Okay,
To give you something to bump against.
got it.
That points right down to the center of this, right? I'm in the middle of this thing, right?
You're going to line up with this. Okay, this is the bearing surface. Like when all the pressure is on the pedal, it's going back this way.
Right.
Like the pressure is going to be pushing back. So if we put it on that side, it's going to slip. What I'm drawing here is the relationship of the cutter to where it lines up with the center of the rotary table. And we're going to borrow a term from machine tools, or cutting tools rather, called rake. But we're going to assume, and correctly so because I've checked, that the paw, or rather the pedal bearing surface, is coming in at a neutral position. So that means lined up with my ruler towards the center of this rotating shaft. The angle we're talking about is how it meets the line of the tooth that's already cut. So you see here, if the paw comes in at this angle, it only makes contact with the leading edge of the tooth that's on the positive rake. So positive rake, we're going to imagine the center comes to there. So if I had a bunch, all those lines would come to that position. So I'm going to draw a pair for each one here real quick. This is called a dovetail cutter, and this particular one has a 60-degree angle on it. Some ratchets might have a 45, but I like to use the 60 because it makes a smaller tooth, allowing a finer adjustment on the ratchet. That cutter is going to come in and make that line. So if we bring the cutter farther down and farther over, it's going to create this neutral rake that we're looking for. That's what we want. So wherever that points, we want it to be as close to this center point as we can get it. And the reason being, the paw, when it comes in, it's going to meet up nicely with that neutral rake. This is all set using the mill height. Imagine this is the giant rotary table. It can go up and down, and the cutter can stay where it's going to be. This is the paw that comes in to meet. The reason that pedals slip is because the pressure is going back that way. And if this has any give or any rocking motion, it's going to want to break back like that as the pressure pulls it, and it's just going to slip past that edge right there. With neutral rake, or no rake at all, it's going to tend to stay locked in. With negative rake, as the pedal pushes up, if this has any wobble, it's actually going to engage a little bit better. It's going to make it suck down into the tooth a little bit more. So given a choice, neutral is going to be the best, negative is going to be second best, and positive is going to be something we don't want.
So you want to follow that flat coming out this way, right?
The one that's pointing towards the ceiling needs to go right to the center.
The center point on the rotary table is going to match up to the center point here. So right back here, there is a flat surface in which the paw meets up like that, and that's what catches the ratchet as this travels up and down. So that is pushing the pressure back that direction. And what we needed to make sure was that the angle of that paw lined up with the center. That means that we're going to have that neutral rake angle that we're looking for. Now, if the angle for the paw that meets the ratchet isn't quite right, there is potential that it will slip or otherwise be a sloppy pedal. So for instance, the pedal might rock a little bit or fall backwards after being locked in, or even potentially go forward after being locked in. the end, we decided to do a multi-tooth pawl because it'll offer more stability on the ratchet itself. A single pawl, when it comes in, has the ability to slip out, especially when it's small or worn out, or if it's not lined up right, it's going to want to fall out, causing teeth to chip. Whereas a multi-tooth pawl has more engagement into the ratchet itself. So I can actually leave this on here, it's going to stay on, and it's not going to go anywhere. So that shows me that I have a very solid lock there. It's not going to slip as easily unless it goes up, which if it goes up, that means there's a problem with the spring on the pedal most likely. The rake angle will help to lock that in and suck it down into the bottom of the tooth as well. So coming up will be heat treating of the ratchets, making some multi-tooth paws. We'll get started on making the gauge parts and soon enough start rolling some hoops and doing some welding and hopefully putting the timpani back together in a little bit. We have to do some testing on various parts, get some fit better. I know from previous videos you saw the rocker arm. The bearing follower on that needs to be angled a little bit better, I think. We'll find out. We'll put that together. I'll have you come along. So hopefully if you're interested in that, I can earn your subscription and you'll get notified when those videos come out. If you're interested in supporting the DK Percussion YouTube channel, maybe you can visit our Amazon wish list. The link is in the description below. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you found something interesting. Maybe you can leave a comment down there below. Let me know what you think. And most importantly, Merry Christmas.